Hello friends, now we are going to discuss this The Hindu, that is 13th of November 2017, The Hindu analysis. So here we can see in this front page, the Muslim farmer was killed by cow vigilance claims family. So definitely this year UPSC has asked one question over the intolerance that is rising in our society about that. So that is one of the examples you can quote okay in the exam hall. That is the enough. Otherwise you can leave that. Or another important things what you can then what is the major means steps can be taken to avoid such type of mishappening that is happening uh, every second or third day in our country. So it will come as in a case study also, so you have to provide some solutions over there. Next news is this quadrilateral rights figures in the first quadrilateral this navigation rights figures in the first quadrilateral tracks. So this news is important okay, that is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi that is taking part in this ASEAN East Asian summit in Philippines. So what is about this news is okay, this navigation rights figures in the first quadrilateral talks here. Beginning a new diplomatic initiative, India participated in the first formal official level business conducted here under the recently mooted regional coalition known as Quad, the quadrilateral formation that includes Japan, India, United States, and Australia. So we need to know what is the squad is. Already we have discussed in earlier articles about this. So what is this quadrilateral group is? This quadrilateral group is initiated by the Japan and later it was joined by the United States and Australia, and India now has tacitly accepted this as an j- not preferently they have not India is not said that is to counter China, but definitely one of the hidden objective is this to how to contain China in Indo-Pacific region. So this statement, this given by our Indian foreign officer, the discussion focused on cooperation based on their converging vision. So converging vision किसका है? Converging vision of Japan, India, United States, and Australia. So discussion focused on cooperation based on their converging vision and values for promotion of peace, stability, and prosperity in an increasingly interconnected region that they share with each other and with other partners. They agreed that a free, open, prosperous, and inclusive Indo-Pacific region serves the long-term interest of all countries in the region and the world at large. Thus, the friends, the first important thing is this: we need to this whatever the comment given by at the official level becomes the most important comments okay for our answer, because in our answer we need not to put our own opinion, but we need to put as much as possible the opinion given by the our officers in or foreign spokespersons. So here is they agreed that free, open, prosperous, inclusive Indo-Pacific region, because this is in the context of South China Sea. Because in South China Sea we have seen that China is not actually allowing other countries to come into the South China Sea area, because we have seen South China Sea has a conflict zone between China and other East Asian nations. Even Australian foreign minister also given one statement, that is why this quad, whatever the objective of the quad is, that upholding the rules based order. Upholding the rules based, rule based means international rule based, not by like China's own rule based. Upholding the rules based order in the Indo-Pacific and respect for international law. But China is not respecting the international law. And freedom of navigation, that is South China Sea is not alone the area of China. There should be a freedom of navigation and overflight, increased connectivity, land connectivity, maritime connectivity, and air connectivity, and challenges of countering terrorism and upholding the maritime security in the Indo-Pacific region. So these are one other important objectives of the Quad that is given by Australian Foreign Ministry. So here we need to know first what is this ASEAN member, because our Prime Minister means right now he is in Philippines. So what is this ASEAN country? So ASEAN is a bloc that carry 10 members of East Asian countries. So what are those 10 members are? Philippines, where right now the summit is going on, Philippines, and then this is Brunei, and then this is Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia, Thailand, and Myanmar. So please take care. Few countries like China is not the member of China is not an ASEAN member. India is not an ASEAN member, because they here actually the two countries you can get confused. China and India is not the member of Asian summit or Asian member countries. So all this block, the East Asian summit in India, Indo Malaya, this peninsula is considered as part of this ASEAN. So here we can carry from start from Myanmar. This is the Myanmar hai, and this is Thailand completely goes till here, and here it is Laos, and here it is Vietnam. Complete Vietnam is this. So we need to understand that Laos is a landlocked country. It is not sharing any water bodies, and then it is the Cambodia, and then it is Indonesia. Indonesia here, and some part of here also it is the Indonesia, and this is Brunei, and this is Philippines. These are the Asian countries. Now, what is East Asian Summit? East Asian Summit actually carries 10 members of Asian countries and another 8 members more. So what are those members are? So these are the 10 members of Asian countries, and these other, for earlier actually there was only 6 members, but Russia and United States were added later. So now 8 extra members plus ASEAN becomes East Asian members. So already Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, and then Australia, India, China, Japan, New Zealand, Republic of Korea, that is South Korea, and Russia, United States. So here we can see our quad countries. All quad countries are here: Australia, India, Japan, and United States. So these 18 EAS member countries represent collectively 55% of world's population and account for 55% of global GDP. Here in map also we can see this: Australia is member of East Asian Summit, New Zealand is the member of East Asian, US is a member, Russia is, China is, and India is. These are the members of East Asian Summit. Now moves to another news. In another news here, all those news we can avoid: 16 dead as boat capsizes in Krishna, Port was Padyatra, get it, ground truth. So these news we can easily avoid. Another important news, definitely in the second page also there is hardly any news, we could avoid this, and third page also we can avoid this. And another is, despite GST cut, most hotels unlikely to roll back prices. So it is not important. Mahadai row political parties to face boycott. Here we need to know what is this Mahadai river is. Okay, and another important thing, what are the this river is the tributary of which river, and where actually it ends, and from which state this river pass, and what is the controversy about this river. That also we need to understand in this news. Rest of the things we easily can escape. Next thing, when we need to go directly to our editorial page. Okay, so now editorial page mein first is this: why ABBA nothing but Aadhaar based biometric authentication. This ABBA means Aadhaar based biometric authentication must go, because this was article was written because on the context of there was one, this article was written, there was one problem has happened, that in October 2017 a death of an 11-year-old Dalit child Santoshi Kumari of Jharkhand was widely reported. She had been pleading with her mother to give her rice as she slipped into unconsciousness and lost her life. So here it was found that because her actually ration card was not linked with Aadhaar, because of that some our insensitive government officials has not given the ration, food ration to that child, because of that hunger and starvation that child's die. So that is the issue is. So here we need to know what is the issue, the problems are happening in our ration, this Aadhaar linkages. And this girl actually belongs to Saharia's tribal community. This girl actually belongs to this Saharia's tribal community in Jharkhand. So what is the issue that is we going to discuss? So why ABBA must go? Issue with Aadhaar: in their zeal to achieve 100% Aadhaar seeding targets, some field functionaries just deleted the names of those who did not submit Aadhaar details. That means that just to show that they have actually they have achieved achieved 100% Aadhaar seeding targets. So what happens, because of unawareness, few actually members are not able to link their Aadhaar. So in their zeal to show that they have actually seeded 100% Aadhaar, they have deleted some of the names. So those deleted names, they cannot now get access to the food and ration. One problem. Second problem, some people blame the aggrieved for failing to seed Aadhaar, but many of them were unaware of the seeding requirement. Because friends, it is very easy to understand that in state like Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh and Odisha, in very remote areas, especially in tribal areas, definitely there is the very unawareness of which is Aadhaar linkages is there, and because of their unawareness, they forgot to link their Aadhaar to all these social sector schemes. Because of that, they are not suffering. Another third is, in some cases, middlemen had seeded it wrongly, because those middlemen, those who are working there, they have seeded Aadhaar wrongly, and because of that, the beneficiaries are not able to get the benefit of social sector schemes. And third issue is infrastructural issues, because in this Aadhaar based biometric, this linkages may requires power supply, and we know that it is not easily available in some of the remote areas. A functional POS machine, this point of sale machine, that is also, because if any problem happens, then it will going to take more time in the repairment or replacement of this POS machine. Then mobile and internet connectivity is very less, and then state and central identity data repository servers also is are most of the times it remains dead there, state and central data repository. And for fingerprint authentication to become successful, these data remains down, and because of that reasons, they are not able to get the benefit of these social sector schemes. Another important problem that is happening here in these regions, quantity fraud is not addressed, as is still being practiced despite successful ABB authentication. For example, in Jharkhand, dealers continue to swindle people by cutting up to 1 kg of their grain entitlement. So that corruption that we thought that after Aadhaar it will go, it is continuous. So what are the alternatives of this Aadhaar linkages? Alternative is this alternative technology such as smart cards. This will allow us to keep the offline POS machines with smart cards and stop internet dependence and biometric authentication, thus helping the poor. That means we are too much dependent on internet and servers. So we need to remove this actually linkages, and we need to rely more on offline POS machine and smart cards. So that was the news here. Now, next is this justice in tumult. This is regarding the corruption in judiciary that recently we are hearing, especially in this Medical Council of India, especially, and another is the admission in medical college. So here, the what is the issue happens, definitely we need to read about, not in detail but just go through is. Then hit phrase, again just you can avoid this news. Next will come contours of a counter BRI. India is being pulled into alliance to counter China's connectivity. Okay, this news. Contours of a counter BRI. India is being pulled into alliance to counter China's connectivity initiative. It should not rush into them. So what is all about this? It is all about especially this quad. यहाँ पे कि India finds itself at a crossroad of grand alliances unfolding in the Indian Ocean regions. Means one side is China, one side is USA, another side is Russia. So while one axis is a maritime, one across Indo-Pacific region, other is land-based. So one axis is maritime, one across Indo-Pacific is quadrilateral, and another is land-based, that is this north-south corridor from Central Asia that is started by Russia, extended from Afghanistan into Southeast Asia. And interestingly, both are intended to act as a check on China's growing clout. So here India has been trying to build connectivity under various initiatives in its own northeast regions, because if India has to develop its northeast regions, because to develop regions, India has initiated Act East policy, but the Act East policy is still not successful because of the connectivity issue that India is not having between this northeast India to the East Asian countries. So India has started various initiatives to connect this northeast regions in its neighboring countries, and further, especially for example, this trilateral highway that is between India, Myanmar, and Thailand, and then between this. Myanmar say another means multimodal project that India has started these things, and further into ASEAN. Now US has begun investing in India's periphery, and Japan is attempting to align its own development initiative to improve connectivity in the region with India's Act East policy, because Japan has begun investing in the sense, because US has begun investing in India's periphery. That means US has actually recently invested $500 million in Nepal just to develop. So this you can read here from this. In September, US signed a 500 million agreement with Nepal to build infrastructure for the Nepal's electricity and transportation needs, and to promote more trade linkages with partners in the region like India. And Japan also had done. Here we can see here about Japan. Ki India and Japan are also cooperating on a project for LNG, liquefied natural gas supplies to Sri Lanka, in addition to aligning their connectivity projects in Africa under proposed Asia Africa Growth Corridor. Please read about more about this Asia Africa Growth Corridor. So this is the thing is happening that we have covered here. Now US has begun investing in India's periphery, and Japan is attempting to align its own deployment initiative to improve connectivity in the region with India's Act East policy. Even recently, US Secretary Rex Tillerson expressed the need to collaborate with India. Means why there is a requirement to collaborate to India, okay, by USA to ensure peace and stability. So what was the reason is to ensure peace and stability in Indo-Pacific region, so it does not become a region of disorder, conflict, and predatory economics. What is the predatory economics? Predatory economics he referred as to China's investment model. That financing mechanism it brings to many of these countries results in saddling them with enormous level of debts, because China is applying this check diplomacy. Through its check diplomacy in China's large trade surplus, China has this large sovereign means wealth, and because of this sovereign wealth, China is actually using this wealth in investment in other countries, that is periphery or neighboring countries of China. And after some time क्या होता है कि these countries becomes indebted to the China, and because of that these countries will somehow need to suffer under China. That's what he is referring to China's investment model, saying financing mechanism it brings to many of these countries in settling them with enormous level of debt. Now, time for caution. Why this time for caution is this? Because while cooperative mechanisms are crucial to maintain stability, in Indian Ocean region, it would be prudent on India's part to do a cost-benefit analysis of building such grand alliances in such uncertain times, especially on the role of US. Because on the one hand, India has asked Russia. On the other hand, actually on the one hand, US has actually asked India to actually take part in the quadrilateral initiative. On the other hand, Russia has asked India to join its international this north south transport corridor that actually go from Afghanistan to Central Asia, arguing that it would be a gateway for India to connect with Central Asia through Chabahar port in Iran via Afghanistan. And recently, there was a news that India has sent shipment through Chabahar port and then into the Afghanistan, completely bypassing the Pakistan. That is the big achievement for India and Afghanistan, completely bypassing the role of Pakistan in this initiative. Next, excessive dependence on multilateral framework to fulfill national objective may seem lucrative in the short term, but prove to be a costly mistake in the long term and compromise India's sovereignty. Because USA, one hand USA is also means a second hand with China, and another hand with India also. So India need to do some this cost benefit analysis whether India's national interest will be fulfilled by joining all these multilateral framework or not. Now, this actually news came in the Indian Express that India and Bangladesh so near so far. India and Bangladesh they are actually neighboring countries, but still there is lot of connectivity issues in India and Bangladesh, and there are some there's a conflict, there's controversial issues are also between India and Bangladesh, for example regarding terrorism. Second is regarding refugee issues. Third regarding this trespassing, this means this illegal crossing of the border between India and Bangladesh. Other issue is especially Tista water dispute issue. Other issue is Tipai Mugh water project is. So these are the some of the issues that is between India and Bangladesh. Just I am telling you. Otherwise, land border agreement, that 100th amendment act that was done by, that was considered as that was considered as the one of the most good actually agreement happens between two countries. So here is what, why this connectivity means. Here we are going to discuss what are the connectivities exist in between India and Bangladesh. So last week actually Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sheikh Hasina and West Bengal Chief Minister flagged off this Kolkata Khulna Bandhan Express. So this express to follow in the tracks of erstwhile Barisal Express, which was stopped during 1965 war with Pakistan. So they have launched one actually railway, Kolkata then Khulna in Bangladesh, and Bandhan Express that was started. Now, India and Bangladesh also have bus connectivity through Agartala, Dhaka, Kolkata bus service, and second is Guwahati, Shillong, Dhaka bus service. So this is two bus connectivity that is between India and Bangladesh. Now, another other train connectivity is train connectivity already we have studied recently launched, that is Kolkata Khulna Bandhan Express. Another train is Kolkata Dhaka Maitri Express. So this Maitri Express runs 6 days a week and was until the November 9 inauguration of the Bandhan Express the only rail link with Bangladesh. Then Agartala Dhaka service, no seamless services between Agartala and Dhaka, but people from Tripura. Now see the map. In map you can see ki Tripura, especially Tripura's capital Agartala. Agartala, so this boundary is just in, means very near to the Bangladesh boundary, Bangladesh border. So, but people from Tripura across the border at the integrated checkpost on Agartala's outskirts take a tempo or taxi to the railway station at Akhura railway station is Bangladesh to catch a train to Dhaka. So they used to go there. So here we need to means see in the map. And road transport also Kolkata Dhaka Northeast seamless cargo. In November 2015, seamless road cargo transport between Kolkata and Agartala through Bangladesh was tried out successfully under this Bangladesh Bhutan India Nepal Motor Vehicles Act. This Bangladesh Bhutan India Nepal Motor Vehicles Act was actually passed under the SAARC summit. Okay, and Pakistan has not actually signed this agreement for the regulation of passengers, personal, and cargo vehicular traffic signed by these countries in June last year. For the regular services are yet to start, but these connectivities are very less connectivities and they are not very regular, and many times because of the security reasons these connectivities also were shut down. So India and Bangladesh need to increase this people to people connectivity so that trade can increase, because India and Bangladesh trade is not more than $5 billion till now, but the perspective is that that growth should be more than $20 billion. That can happen only when we are going to increase this trade between connectivity. We need to increase this connectivity between India, and with this connectivity most important benefit will go over northeast states, because for the northeastern state they need to go through the Siliguri corridors, and this takes more than 24 hours to reach from Kolkata to even Guwahati. So that is the reason is if we go directly through crossing through Bangladesh and then reach to northeastern states, definitely it will going to increase the movement of the northeastern peoples towards this Indian mainland, and then definitely development will come in the northeast regions. So this was the in Indian Express. Another articles, definitely wisdom on octopus. These are articles are not important. So this much of important articles we have discussed in the Hindu. Okay, so here we are going to end this our session. So please like this video and comment in this video. Okay, like us to appreciate so that we can make more such videos. Thank you.